And wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. And hello, and welcome to the Slam Jam Wrestling Show here. Wait 1 second, wait 1 second. There's lots to go on. I'm going to do that intro again. People watching, I will explain in a moment. So wait for it, wait for it. Okay, you can be
I
heard.
was hoping you would.
I can be heard. Wait for it, wait for it. There's lots going on here. And hello, and welcome to the Slam Jam Wrestling Show here on the Extreme Improv Extremes YouTube channel, but also, just like the final episode of WCW Monday Nitro, we are simulcasting to the Slam Jam Wrestling YouTube channel as well. So if you haven't ever been there before, it's at www.youtube.com/@ Slam Jam Wrestling Show. So do check that out as well. How are you, Dave?
I'm okay. I'm kind of bemused with the new setup.
Bemused?
I just logged in and suddenly I'm like hearing the intro music. I'm like, hang on, what's going on?
Okay, Dave.
It said hello, and I was like, oh, we're on live.
Yeah,
right?
we are live. I have a confession to make. Now, for the viewers that don't know the behind-the-scenes malarkey that, like, how we organise the show, like, I'll say, like, oh, who can do a show? Or people say, oh, I can do the show tonight, or whatever. And Gav, who often does the show, said about doing it, and then he said, oh, he's not going to be able to. Then I saw your message, which a minute ago I reread. And when I read your message, it said, just do what I do on some shows, drop some comments while watching. I was like, oh, Dave's just going to do what he does on some shows and drop some comments. And so for the last few minutes, I was like, well, I'm going to do the show anyway. There's a big week. I'll do some reactions. It'll be a bit of a monologue. And then you were like, where are you? And I was like, oh, no, I've just clicked to go live. So I was like, here's the link. And we're live.
I thought we were going to have a few of us, but I didn't realize it was going to be two of us again.
Well, it looks like it. I wasn't sure. We may still get another run in if anyone. I thought everyone would be on this, like, the biggest week in wrestling history, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. It was. I mean, I don't know. Slow news week. Oh my God. Hang on. Sorry.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, but this is a new, but like Dave, like, so just to play around with this, it's going to take me a few weeks of doing shows with this stuff before I suddenly, like, don't just talk about how it goes. But look, here is, like, on screen, you should see at the bottom of the screen, like, that is one of our headlines to talk about here. Vince McMahon returns, Stephanie quits. Yeah.
I mean, I was hearing rumours, then I had some more rumours, and rumours were coming, and then rumours, and just the rumours. Oh, I didn't talk about it a bit. Then there were more rumours and rumours.
Yeah. So what's your initial reaction? Like, I think because, like, over Christmas and stuff, I think there were some things that were in the news saying that Vince McMahon is trying to get his way back. He was given bad advice, is what he was saying. And now all of a sudden it's just back to business, almost, it would seem.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I said it before on the show, and I've heard it on another podcast I listened to, sort of said it as well. It's the makers of Succession should sue the McMahon family for the fact that they are basically enacting their entire storyline.
Yeah, like, this is, like, been a crazy whirlwind. Like, I remember a few months ago, it was that, oh, Triple H has been removed from being in charge of NXT. Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard are taking it over. And now it's a little bit of history repeating, perhaps.
I mean, it's this whole thing about whether or not it takes over the creative. I mean, obviously, the fact that Stephanie's gone seems to suggest that Triple H might be on the way next. I don't know. I imagine he's...
Well, but so there was this whole thing that she had a sabbatical, or was about to have a sabbatical, when she suddenly found herself as, like, the co-chairperson. So maybe she genuinely was going to have a sabbatical. Like, who knows?
It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. It's highly unlikely, but it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
But it's just this thing of Vince. He just can't. He can't lose. He can't be seen to be the loser in the situation, And it's one of those cases, I think, where he's going to want to be there till the very, very end, until he literally breathes his last breath.
Yeah.
And he can't be seen to be the loser. He's had to see. I mean, there's that. I haven't seen it yet, but there's that documentary that went up recently called The 9 Lives of Vince McMahon.
I don't know.
Want to watch. And he's I just wonder whether or not he's just suddenly saw that being made and said, "Damn it, I haven't had my 9 lives yet. God damn it."
Yeah, no, it's like, well, the weird thing for me is like there's lots of different reactions and all that, but like he still is the majority owner. Is that if I'm correct on that?
But it was just. But I think before he was just being taken out of having any sort of controlling authority over everything.
Yeah.
Now he's obviously. I'm not minded in this sort of thing at all, so I don't know the ins and outs at all of this sort of thing. I don't know the ins and outs of the situation at all because I'm not there. I'm in South End and Essex. I'm not in Connecticut.
Yeah.
It's this whole thing of him bullying his way into becoming the head of the the chairman of the board and all that sort of stuff. It's weird because I've been watching a lot of like late 90s WWF recently on the network, and I'm actually at the point in mid 99 where he's just lost the stakes, where he's just lost his rights to be the owner of the World Wrestling Federation at the time. And
who did he lose that to in 99?
He was right, so it was like a first blood match between Steve Austin and the Undertaker, and McMahon put his career on the line if Undertaker didn't win, and it didn't win, and so he's been sort of like he does this whole little bit on Raw and it gets shuffled off. And I'm pretty sure it's not even like 5 or 6 weeks until he comes back. Gone forever. No, back in a month and a half.
Wow, I don't even remember that remotely. I remember that he had to sell. Ric Flair was co-owner or owned Raw at one point. Donald Trump bought Raw at one point or something like this.
Yeah.
When they were doing the whole guest GM or something like that in about 2005, 2000, whatever.
I don't know, maybe he just wanted his life to imitate the art he did in the Attitude Era. Which it could go back to if this whole privatisation thing happens as well, with wherever they're going to sell to, so they could become now back to being a private company, which means they don't have as many public shareholders to answer to, which means they could probably put out whatever they want to on television.
Yeah,
which could go,
it could go many directions. Like, the thing is, though, I think everyone's been in agreement pretty much universally that the last few months WWE has been better than it was for the last several years.
Yeah. And we'll always have August to December of 2022.
Yeah. There was lots of returns. It's like, oh, these guys are going to get used. Shawn Michaels is running NXT. And it's like, oh, this is going to be the beginning of a new Attitude Era. People were suddenly saying, oh, WWE's good and AEW's lost its way. And all of that goodwill is just probably flown out the window.
Yeah, it's back to the other way around now. AEW's gone sort of back to being good again, and it's all got better. I think there was some sort of thing where this week's Raw apparently was for the first time in a long time, sort of rewritten like a couple of times before finally getting finalised, just before they went on air again, and that's a Vince trope.
Yeah,
if there was one.
Oh my gosh!
It doesn't. If that's true, it doesn't bode well.
Yeah, it's just like Triple H being in charge. He's still seeming the interesting thing. And Dave, I'm going to show you one of the fancy bells and whistles, which isn't actually that fancy that I can do on here. Oops, I'm pressing the wrong buttons already. Let's make sure we can still be seen. And where is it? Right. So up here somewhere, I have. Let's go on to this. Let's add Stephanie McMahon's Twitter to the stream. And here we'll see, just now she didn't say, I don't know how old she is now, 43, time to retire, or whatever Vince's famous tweet was. But she says, then now forever together, exactly the same as Vince. And then she's got her statements here. And she does say within it, our founder, Vince McMahon. First of all, is Vince McMahon the founder? He isn't the founder. His father was. He didn't start WWE. He bought it from his dad. But regardless, our founder, Vince McMahon... Oh my God, unless she means her grandfather has returned from the other side.
Oh no, it's Vince Senior.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Our founder, Vince McMahon, has returned. Oh my gosh, right.
She can't even call this our founder. It's almost like she's trying to lead a prayer of some kind, isn't it? Our Father, who art in Hartford. McMahon be his name.
Yeah. has returned as executive chair and is leading an exciting process regarding strategic alternatives. So we don't. Obviously, that's the sale, but we don't know quite what that is. But it says, and with Nick's leadership and Paul Triple H Levesque as chief content officer, I am confident WWE is in the perfect place to continue to provide unparalleled creative content and drive maximum value for shareholders. Blah 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 blah. I feel like the whole purpose of that though was just to say, and my husband, who is still in charge, and because I've written it now, I'm just trying to make sure that they don't go back on this in 24 hours time.
It's yeah, it's gonna be interesting how the next couple of weeks go. I just don't want to. I was just really looking forward to the Royal Rumble this year because I thought if he's in charge, at least they won't fuck it up like they did last year.
Yeah. Who won last year? Brock.
Yeah, it was the Brock one. Well, literally one. I just went turned it off. I was like,
yeah. No, but I don't know. What do you think they are going to be sold? Obviously, the big rumor this week was that they were sold to the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, and then
which has absolutely no foundation whatsoever. Apparently, and it's just.
Or was it that there was absolutely none, or is it just that it's not a done deal?
I mean, are we ever going to know until it's actually put out there? I mean, you could go to Disney, you could go to who else is in there? Amazon could be in there. Netflix.
What genuinely worries me, and give me your view on this, is I was thinking about this last night. There's the WWE network, and many years ago, like I don't know if you still have any. I don't have any of the old VHS tapes of WWF.
Yeah.
Like, do you?
Silvervision, yeah.
You do. You have the VHS, yeah, they're long since gone. Like I might have like the odd one sneaking around somewhere, but like I had all of them like up to the Attitude Era, and then obviously there was the DVDs, and I've got a ton of those, but I never completely replaced my collection. Now I haven't sold any of my DVDs or got rid of them, so I've got those. But I was thinking that there is a genuine possibility that if they're sold to some company that's like to this investment fund, if they don't really care about it, or if like after a year, if they're like, oh, this isn't what we want, or if they go to Disney and Disney are like, oh, there's questionable stuff, it's suddenly a case that the WWE, the whole library, everything could suddenly become hard to find and unavailable to watch anywhere.
I mean, I don't know, because obviously Peacock have been through the editing process of a few bits and pieces, haven't they? So
yeah,
they've taken some stuff off, but they haven't like gotten rid of wholesale of a whole load. There's still some stuff on there. It's like, wow. But I don't know. I mean, Disney really the company that can really be held to like accountable on certain things, considering some of the stuff they have put out over the years, and is still is on their networks somewhere. I mean, obviously I know they haven't put on things like their most abhorrent of things such as what was that film that's always accused of
the Zippity Doodah song.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that film's called. This came up a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that one apparently my favourite song. It's from the most reviled film of the thing. I know that's not on there, but there's still there's going to be bits and pieces everywhere, and I think it's the same with a lot of wrestling networks and things like that. I mean, I still think there, even despite everything that happened with Speaking Out and everything like that, I still think that the idea of just completely cutting things out of your back catalogues and all that sort of stuff online, if you've just got warnings on there, I think that's fine.
Well,
I mean, people might disagree with me on that one, but there's some things on some independent networks where they've cut some people out of things, and or indeed whole shows on certain networks, and there's just this thing of like, you are just basically getting rid of your history, and if you just say, look, we're owning this, we used to use these guys or have you and all that sort of stuff, and you put on there, this is what happens on the show, these are the points where they happen and all that sort of stuff. If you want to skip it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, just because obviously like the last few years have gone crazy with all kinds of stuff. Because if it was whenever there's been some of these controversies that it's like obviously the obvious one, the big one was Chris Benoit, obviously several ridiculously a long time ago now. And it's like, well, do you just not show that WrestleMania main event? It's like, well, do you not show the Royal Rumble because I think he went in at number 1? And obviously they made the decision, they may have put warnings or something before it. But then if it's a case of, well, Vince McMahon, he's a problem now. It's like, well, do you just erase the whole network? And like, obviously, within the time space of a year, Ric Flair went from the helicopter story to he's got his final match, and that may not even be his final match if going by some of the news this week. He wants another. Apparently, the interesting thing there is he said that he didn't drink water during the day, and then that's why I don't know if you've ever seen that match.
It's on my watch list. I still haven't seen it yet, but yeah.
Oh, dude, it's embarrassing to watch. To be honest,
I think it's one of those things where you can watch it in hindsight because you know he's okay. I think that's the general
Yeah,
consensus.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so I think I think you're right. Like put some warnings or something, or not even necessarily. Imagine if you're just about to load up a show, and it puts on a warning. Then you go into the show for like, the next 2 hours, you either be, unless they're going to name, don't watch this Joey Ryan special or whatever. It's just like, so you'd be like, well, who is it on this show? And it's just, they probably just need like a general warning when it loads that some of this is historical archive footage or whatever.
That's what they do, I think, isn't it? And that's what they do. I mean, there's a lot of things on all manner of things, like they just put it on the thing beforehand. This program contains material of humour that was accepted at the time that may be considered
outdated.
Which I think is a perfectly fine way of looking at it. So there's some old comedies that, some very dodgy comedies from like the 70s and things like that had some storylines and things like that in there which really are not acceptable today, and that sort of thing. So I mean, it's a whole kettle of fish we're opening there, I think. Double down that way, but. Now,
but one of the things that comes to mind with that though is that like there is the saying that history is written by the victors. Now, in this narrative, Vince McMahon is back, and it's the case of he can kind of shape what he wants on his program. Like the thing is, when all of the scandal started and he was just like announcing Vince McMahon will be on SmackDown tonight, and everyone's like, oh, what's he going to do? And he came out and he was just like, remember our slogan, then now together. It's like, it feels like people definitely stopped him from doing something more. At what stage is he going to be like, is it going to be like, on Monday Night Raw, or is he just going to be like, imagine like there's a particularly short Royal Rumble, and like everyone, like how Brock just threw everyone out as soon as they got in. We get into that situation, there's like still not everyone is out, and somehow the last two is still in the ring are Brock and Bobby Lashley, and number 30 isn't even out yet, and they wrestle and they eliminate each other, and we're like, oh my god, whoever comes out at number 30 is the winner, and then McMahon's music hits.
Let's not tempt fate. I mean, that's the likely thing. He's going to want to be at WrestleMania, certainly. Is that appearance you just mentioned though when he was on SmackDown, was that the same one where he tripped up out of the ring or into the ring?
No, that was a different one.
Okay.
So that one might have even been his last one. Wasn't that? Yeah. Didn't he like say, "Oh, like here comes John Cena" or something like this, and then he jumped out the ring? I can't remember. But yeah, so like, who do you think? Do you think Vince will actually sell it? Is this talk of selling it just so it's like, well, I need to be there to sell it, and then he's just going to be like, I haven't found a buyer and I'm just still here?
I don't know. It's I'm not. I can't. I've nothing to base anything on. I just from reading the stuff, all I saw was just everyone going absolutely mad on Twitter the other day and just going, "Oh my god, he's back! It's going to ruin the product." All those other bits and pieces, and we haven't really seen any evidence of that yet. And it's early days. Yeah, it might just be a case of just it's there for the sale and that's it. But
yeah,
it's because he wants to put his stamp of approval on it and make sure that he's the one who oversees who the thing goes to. I think that's always, I hate to be one of those people that just sort of like just does a whole wait and see thing, but I think we haven't got much choice. We just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to discourage that, Dave, just because it will make this more interesting. But
sorry, I'm just not interesting enough for you.
No. It's like, well, like let's jump to conclusions. Right.
Oh, yeah, he's going to sell it. He's going to sell it to Dixie Carter.
Well, there we go. Okay, well, that was going to say. Now, if you were Tony Khan and you hear that WWE is for sale,
Oh God!
like imagine Vince McMahon hearing, well, WCW's up for sale, and he didn't buy it. Imagine how that would have changed history. Tony Khan in his position.
Man. The CEO, the new CEO is a Khan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. They need to. They need. Or Shane just needs to turn up on Dynamite. Something needs to happen. But like, okay, it just seems like we know that the Khans, but obviously it's not Tony, it's his dad. They have the money. They could buy it. They've got more money than Vince. Is this like the one opportunity to buy WWE, buy their competition? Why would they not do it? Surely they've got to be in the consideration.
I didn't even think of that as a consideration. Absolutely not. There's I don't know. There's just it's so mad that it might just happen. I don't think it's going to be a case of them just selling it for like a ridiculously small amount that they ended up buying WCW for back in the day. But a lot more than that, I would imagine. But,
hang on, we've got some comments. I forget to check it because when I say we've got some comments, we've got Gav, we've got Assad, we've got Capelthave, all of the people that should be on this show right now.
Why are you not here, guys?
Why are you not here? Why are you commenting? Let's check some of the comments and we'll continue on with it.
All you got to do is get a Chrome browser on your laptop going, and then you can get on here.
Yeah, just get a Chrome browser.
Like,
do you need to use Chrome?
I can't use that.
Oh wow, right, okay. So let's have a look here. So Gav says, Freddie Prinze Jr. should buy it and put it on a rooftop. Definitely. Have you seen Dynamite from last night?
Scooby Dooby douchebag.
Yeah. No, but have you seen Dynamite from last night?
I've only got up to that point.
Oh, okay, so Freddie Prinze Jr. was on it, and the crowd were going nuts for him, and it's like this guy just said he was going to open a wrestling event on his rooftop once, and then it never got mentioned again, and people now think he's going to save wrestling. Assad Card says, OMG Slam Jam. The whole thing is a work, guys. Relax. WWE isn't up for sale. Maybe. Well, I think on that front, if that is the case, if WWE isn't for sale, I think Vince is saying, well, I need to come in to sell it because I own it all. And he'll do that just so that it's established that he's there. And then he could move on. Guys, make it your New Year's resolution to be on the show. The link is, we expect to see you pop up in a second. The link is here. Capelthave says, OMG, it's Dave and David. It is. It's a double D show. And Gav says double D. How about that? Assad says, if WWE does indeed sell to Saudi Arabia, Vince will come out to the ring and say, it's time to chic things up again. See, that's more of a joke that, my culture, you can make it in the comments. I don't really think I can. But, there you go. Or shake things up. I misread it. Because I read it like Iron Chic. And I think that's spelled differently.
That's what he meant.
But it's written like the word shake. I don't know. Right, anyway. Then we've got Batista and Cena going over the top rope at the same time. Yeah. 2005. Assad says, Tony Khan won't buy WWE.
And Vince, so you do the same thing, and Lashley and Lesnar eliminating each other, Vince running at number 30 and tearing his quads not in again.
Okay, Cap says, I can't do it, Dave. My security system is married to Zoom. We're going to problem solve that for you, Cap. Assad says, Tony Khan won't buy WWE because if he does, he can't have ex-WWE guys as his entire roster. He already does. Like, that would create, like, some sort of, like, the world would implode on itself, though, just because if everyone is in just one roster, then what? Like, Impact suddenly is relevant again.
Yeah, but you think about it, Tony Khan owns AEW, owns Ring of Honor, owns WWE. Imagine those triple header shows.
Okay, so if Tony Khan, let's just go with this idea a second. If Tony Khan bought WWE, what does he do with Ring of Honor, or is the answer just nothing?
That's the new developmental. It's WWE versus AEW, and you've got ROH versus NXT. That's what you...
I'm trying to, like, if okay, so if you bought WWE, would he even bother with AEW? Or would he just be like, well, this is the bigger brand, we'll just call ourselves WWE now?
Yeah, he puts all the proper popular wrestling sort of like actual styles of the actual like wrestling stuff on AEW, and there's the sport entertainment stuff on WWE. You basically have Jericho Appreciation Society running that,
Yeah.
and for ROH you just have the guys from Dark, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just get anybody, and then just bring in a couple of people to oversee all that. People like really hip. You bring Regal back. That's the first thing you do.
Oh, what has been going through Regal's mind in the last couple of weeks?
He's probably very happy, to be honest.
Really?
He's always said no. He's always had the best. If you ever listened to when he was doing the podcast, he always had the highest praise for Vince, and always said he was proud to be working for him and all that sort of stuff, and always said that he always did right by him. And so
what was the circumstances of him leaving WWE and NXT in the first place? Was he fired?
I think it was just the budget cut thing.
Wow.
Sending people off to because that was the whole rumor, wasn't it? When he was firing all over everybody left, right, and centre every couple of weeks. It was to cut talent so that they could make it easier to sell.
Yeah.
So if that happens again, don't be surprised in the next couple of weeks we're now looking at more people being released suddenly.
Yeah, I think probably all of the same people that were brought back. Bray, Braun, who else? There's been so many. Every week for a couple of months there was like a return.
Who is this Dexter mustache man looking at me? Oh, get him out of here.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Assad says, David, can you ask Tony Khan if he wants to buy Slam Jam? Love it. Capel then says, what if Elon Musk buys it? If Elon Musk wants to buy Slam Jam, Cap, I'll let him. He's got the money. Or did you mean Elon Musk buys WWE?
God, can you imagine? I mean, I did mention Amazon earlier as a potential, and Jeff Bezos getting it. That could be interesting.
Has that actually been mentioned as a potential? Because I know Disney legitimately has.
I think I just heard someone mentioning it on a podcast that was a potential thing, Because I mean, Amazon Prime have got a lot of sport on there. They've got a lot of football stuff and all together, so it wouldn't be that out of touch to fit, I don't think.
Yeah. No, I think get the pizza guy by it. Who's the pizza guy?
Luigi Primo.
Ah, it's a Luigi Primo, maker the best pizza. That was a gimmick that got old quite quickly, wasn't it?
He's wrestling for GLEAT in Japan at the moment.
That's crazy.
He's doing the whole thing. He's been wrestling like Japanese legends like Shima and Kaz Hayashi and all those people. It's brilliant. What's the match against Shima the other day? He's still like just tossing the dough around the whole match. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look. I know you're going to wait and see, but that's no fun, Dave. Come on. Right, let's pin you down.
I'm saving my imagination for extreme later.
Okay. In 1 year's time, who will be the owner of World Wrestling Entertainment?
The owner of World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who will have it? I'm going to say it's going to be Tony Khan. It's too big an opportunity. Unless Vince has got the pride issue of I can't sell it to him.
Has he made any sort of hints about that at all on his Twitter? He usually does make some sort of.
Did he give hints that he wanted to buy Ring of Honor before he just came out on Dynamite?
Yeah, that was Ring of Honor, wasn't it? It wasn't. It's not like it was like, oh, this might be. It's just.
But I can imagine he's just like, Dad, I really want it, and Shadiq's like, it's just been Christmas. He's like, come on, it's my birthday soon.
All right, then a year's time, WWE will be owned outright by Disney.
Disney. Ooh, I think that's quite a good bet. Okay, in the comments, feel free to put which one you think. Capthev says Zuckerberg. He's trying to get in on MMA. What, as a fighter? Right, but if he buys it...
What, like that episode of Friends with the millionaire trying to take up MMA?
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, no, it's at least the whole Logan Paul thing, though. There's this whole culture of these celebrity YouTubers doing the boxing and stuff. Assad says Narendra Modi will own WWE in 1 year. I don't know who that is. Any idea?
Find out.
Narendra Modi. N-A-R-E-N-D-R-A. Narendra. I can't read it. Right, Zuckerberg buys WWE and will wrestle in the metaverse. Amazing. Now, I think it will be Tony Khan. If it is sold, it is too big an opportunity to have the library, to have the worldwide recognition, to have all of the the deals and everything. If Tony Khan is serious about being in the wrestling industry, then he should buy WWE, buy his competition. Like the evidence for it is that Vince bought WCW and ECW and was then able to get all of the gold mine out of the trademarks and out of the video library and all that. It would be giving away something ginormous. Gavin says Dwayne will buy it like the XFL. Maybe. I don't know if Dwayne can afford it. The XFL was a lot cheaper.
That would be interesting. I don't know. I'm trying to find this Mojo guy. Sorry.
I'd love it if. You know what? Imagine The Rock running WWE. I don't actually know what I don't know what he's like. He's a very creative person, but I don't know how he'd run it. Would it just be like he's the champion or something? Or that he can't get pinned or beaten or something like he apparently has in his movie contracts. Modi is the CM of India. What, Punk?
Oh.
What's CM mean? Is that I know what PM is Prime Minister.
I did find it right. Okay, hold on.
Assad then goes, Modi is not the CM of India, he is the Punk of India, on similar brainwave. Okay. You go on.
He's he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, is that right? Yeah, he's 14th Prime Minister of India.
There you go. That's fascinating. Okay, so has there been anything else in the wrestling news this week, or? I'm not saying that we have to skip away from this, but we either know that Disney or Tony Khan are going to own it.
I don't know. I mean, let's have a little look. There's some weird stuff. I mean, there's everyone was a bit disappointed that we hadn't Wrestle Kingdom last week.
Yeah, I saw a lot of it. I didn't see the whole of it.
We discussed it on the last week's show, but it was a fine show. I wouldn't say that New Japan's back to full strength, like mega interested or anything like that for the time being, for the moment. But it was a good all round show.
Happy with the results, the title changes, US title change, world title change.
Like I said, I've not been really massively following it in the last little while, so the title changes weren't really massively surprising, anything like that. But it's just nice to have sort of a big sort of show back together with full crowd cheering and it was nice to see Kenny Omega in a sort of a serious match again. I think there's very much a difference between the New Japan Kenny Omega and the AEW Kenny Omega.
Yeah, there is, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Because
it's because he owns a part stake in AEW and he thinks he can do what he wants. That's probably what it is.
Maybe. But obviously, I've seen a bunch of Kenny Omega matches before AEW existed. I saw smatterings of it, and then it was a big thing, Alpha versus Omega and all of this stuff. It's like, oh my god, this guy's going to be great. And then for the first year and a half of AEW, Omega he didn't quite shine like everyone expected him to, and then obviously he had his world title run, the majority of which was not in front of an audience though. And so this was a different Omega kind of. But again, obviously we've had Ospreay in AEW during the trios tournament and all of that, but I think they must have known that if they were doing Forbidden Door, this was New Japan saying, well, we want Omega back for Wrestle Kingdom, and then we'll have the match there. Yeah,
and they'll probably do the rematch at Forbidden Door, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think that's a solid prediction. Yeah, I agree with that.
Ospreay gets the win back, I guess. I suppose the other thing was sort of a bit of a nice surprise was Adam Cole returning last night.
Yeah. Do you know what? Okay, did you buy into that they were trying? Okay, here's the one thing about it. So when he welled up, the audience didn't care. I was like, oh, that fell flat. Did you, or perhaps I was being too harsh on him. When he was
Go on.
I was just saying, when he had that moment where he's like, and I'd be at home and I'd be so sad. The audience were just so flat for it. I was just like, oh man, move on. It didn't work. They didn't bite. They don't believe it. You're wrestling.
A bit like Seymour Skinner, sort of doing a joke, going, "What's for laugh?" 1, 2,
yeah.
3, and carry on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think maybe it was just like a bit too subtle for some of the audience who probably just wanted to hear the catchphrases, or just more like, "Come on, get to the point. Are you back or are you out, or what's
I
going
just
on?"
don't think they've properly teased the idea that he might not come back.
Hmm.
You know, like the main thing I heard on it was like going back to the whole Punk situation at the press conference. He sort of said about like, oh, he's worried about Adam Cole and that, but I think he's kind of been off of the radar a fair amount. Whereas like Adam Page, there has been more of a talk about, oh, is he cleared to wrestle? Can he come back? And then obviously he did this week.
Yeah, it was funny that happened like right after his return match, and it's like, oh, the other Adam's back.
Yeah, it's Adam's week.
Yeah, but no, I actually give them a bit of credit though, because they have kept it like out of the under wraps for a while, and obviously for actual reasons of it, obviously with his health and everything like that. And I think the fact that this didn't really get out, I didn't see this like leaked at all on any of the news sites or anything like that he was going to be there, or he was going to make a announcement about his future or anything like that. So it was quite a nice surprise.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think for going forward, they did that thing with the Young Bucks and O'Reilly and Fish when they sort of did that beat down on them a few months ago. But obviously then Kyle got injured and Adam Cole was still out, and then Bobby Fish wasn't even rehired to the company and went on to cut promos at Impact to deafening silence.
Well, exactly. I thought Cole was trying to take a page out of his book just by falling flat.
Look, where's the lie?
Yeah, where's the lie? You know.
But yeah, no, it was. I think if they're going to
Didn't he just actually rip that off from Punk? Wasn't that again part of Punk's whole thing about?
I don't know. I just saw
I have all the proof. Where? Tell me where I'm lying. And he's like, yeah.
No, I just saw the clip of it of Fish doing that on one of the OSW review videos recently, and just the fact that they just said it's just total silence in there, and I thought for a moment it was one of the closed set shows, and then realised there was an audience watching him do that. Anyway, but no, I think if they're going forward with, I don't know if they're going to try to just forget that whole angle they did, because they can't really do anything about it at the moment. They have to sort of bring it back as to be on the face side of things, I guess. Which would be interesting.
Just have a quick look at the so Monet Banks. We can speak about Sasha now being, instead of at the bank, she is just pure Monet. Capital there says, Monet. I knew you'd make the Punk joke about the CM thing. Assad said, we barely even spoke about Stephanie in this. Stephanie took a leave of absence because she was pregnant. She later resigned because what if Triple H kids Googled WWE and saw that Saudi now owns it? I don't know. I don't think they'd care that much.
I think he's pastiching that from something. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Assad says Royal Rumble 2023 will see Cody Rhodes at 27, followed by CM Punk at 28, Vince McMahon at 29, and Tony Khan at 30. Tony eliminates McMahon in the final four to declare himself the new owner of WWE. That would be the darkest day in wrestling ever.
And then Sami Zayn still eliminates them all to win the Rumble, which I'm really hoping for.
Yeah, like that's got to be like I think a lot of people just have to feel like, oh, what's going to happen to Sammy if it's bought by the Saudi thing? Because obviously, he can't go and wrestle out there. Will they? Well, I don't know how this plays into a thing, but
I think that's I mean, recently the Saudi deal in terms of Crown Jewel and all that sort of stuff is almost over.
Well, when did it start? Like, it was only like a 5-year deal or something.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if they've like taken, obviously because they couldn't travel there for a couple of those years. I don't know if it's affected if they've held that off, or if it's like if they didn't do that at all and they just held it off. I don't know, because I think they're a bit. I think the officials there are a bit annoyed that they weren't going to travel there and do their show. And it's like, hello, there's a worldwide pandemic going on.
Yeah. Well, also, I think they've got to the point they're like, look, Undertaker's retired, Goldberg's done, Michaels isn't going to have another go. We've got no stars to bring back from yesteryear. So it's kind of done in itself.
But hold that thought. What if all those guys are coming out 27, 28, 29, 30? What if there's a 31st entrant and The Rock comes out?
I almost really like that idea. Imagine that suddenly they just had a thing, and it came up number 31, and everyone's like, "Wait, what is this? What is this?" And that would be quite cool as an idea, and they'll explain it on Raw.
Yeah.
Imagine if someone came out as number 31 and they didn't win. Like, how humiliating.
What if that they do actually do that, and it's Vince?
It's Vince
saying, "Hey, I'm the new one. I still own this place. I can do what I want."
Yeah, absolutely. Gav says, what happens with Regal now? I think we kind of touched on that. Like, I think there's a chance that if Vince fires him, he'll just go back, because I think he amazingly kept things on good terms with Tony Khan.
Yeah.
To be like, there was a thing where he said about, like, Tony Khan's mother was ill, and he's like, well, look, doesn't this highlight, you want to be around family and that? And apparently he's got a son that wrestles in NXT. I'm not even sure who that is.
Yeah, Jay Dempsey.
Okay, there you go. But yeah, like, I don't know.
I think I think he'll be perfectly happy. He'll be happy to stay.
With WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have they actually resolved what is the Blackpool Combat Club called now?
The Blackpool Combat Club.
That's
They haven't changed it yet.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. Capthez says, did WWE Scooby-Doo animated movies do that well that Disney is interested in buying it? Why Disney? There is a country in the world, I don't know where it is, where Disney do actually show WWE Network, similar to how Peacock does in America. I can't remember which one, but I swear on my life I've not made this up. Gav says, number 31 Rumble entrance is a brilliant idea. I think that sounds really cool. Just because I think that if, like, the person's in the ring, they're like, yeah, like, I've won it. And suddenly, well, actually, unless it happens within that 2 minute that the person, number 30, comes out and they have a very quick finish. Like, they couldn't leave it 10 minutes and then suddenly, like, and here is number 31. That might be a bit too janky.
That would be a little bit.
Okay, let's see if I can find out. In fact, let's find out on here, because I can bring it up on the screen if necessary.
There was like a 30. Well, there was a 40-man Rumble a number of years ago, wasn't there?
Yeah, was that the one that Alberto won?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 10 entrants too much. It didn't go too long.
Disney WWE Network.
That'd be an interesting trivia question. Who is the only 31st entrant in the history of the Royal Rumble? Be interesting.
WWE Network Disney Plus in the Philippines.
Ah, okay.
WWE Network moving to Disney Plus in the Philippines will launch on the 11th or the 17th, so I assume that was last year. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, look at that. So they've already got dealings. Disney aren't against having WWE on their Disney Plus thing.
It's always weird though. I mean, my fiance was saying recently that they every time it sort of comes up as an advertised thing over here on Disney Plus, they had the Welcome to Chippendales series that just went up there recently, and she keeps going, "How is this on Disney Plus? I don't understand." I can't explain. It's the Fox network stuff or the Hulu stuff.
Right, yeah.
Put on there. It's not Disney aren't like having like the Magic Kingdom sort of
promo
bit going into Welcome to Chippendales. So that'd be very weird.
Yeah. What did you think of Mercedes Moné and her Wrestle Kingdom debut?
And
then,
a shame that
if you haven't seen, well, sorry, I was just gonna say, if you haven't seen all, I can't remember like the order of things, but if you've only seen half of Dynamite.
Yeah, no, I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure I know that she didn't turn up, so it's fine. But I didn't think she was going to. I think that's why they had to set the thing up the week before. I mean, it was a bit of a shame that it followed a 5-minute match.
Yeah.
The women's match on the Wrestle Kingdom ever, and it's a 5-minute match. It's great. But the entrance was fine. I didn't mind that so much. It was a little moment. Obviously, I know everyone's going, with the Japanese crowd, they didn't know how to respond, or they didn't respond very well to it. It's a Japanese crowd. They don't necessarily respond to like in-ring promos unless they're really fluent in what the English language is. But yeah, it was fine up until whatever that move was.
Well, yeah, it's I've seen I've seen clips of how it was meant to go, and obviously she just dropped down and didn't hit the DDT. She's done it before, and it was meant to be a spin and I've tried to find it. I don't know if I'll be able to find it just as we do this, but it was meant to be like spin around and drop her into a DDT.
Yeah, gory into like DDT, but yeah, for whatever reason, they just didn't connect at all, and it looks really bad. And I mean, fair play to her doing it in those bloody heels. They must have been painful to walk on.
Okay,
Those
look at
things.
this.
Walk on.
Unbelievably, look, this is going to pay off already. I have the clip there. So this is what she was going for.
Oh, is this
And
training in Japan?
yeah, so I don't know if no, it's not going by her hairdo. It's training somewhere.
Well, that's their normal hair, dude. That's
Wait, are you saying that's the tree frog thing that she had is a wig?
I'm saying I'm saying this. She might not have that entire hairdo for her training. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe this was like the in between thing. It was interesting hair. I've never seen like a patterned thing like that.
Oh, she looked great. It was a star. Like, it was a star-looking entrance. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it just fell flat after that. Whatever that.
It's interesting as a choice, just because like I think if she must feel like she might go back to WWE to have done New Japan, because like they don't even really have a women's division. It's like Stardom that they're kind of partnering with.
Yeah, it's the whole partner of Stardom. That's the way they're doing it, and they're doing the IWGP women's thing as sort of like a way of getting more women's wrestling on other shows as well. I think for the US market, strong shows and all that sort of stuff. I think that's mainly what it's there for. But no, I don't think she has any wish to go back to WWE at the minute. I think if she wanted to do that, she would have been snapped up straight away, and they would have welcomed her back. So I think this is something she's wanted to do for a long time. Is doing Japan. I think it was like an interview she did. Was it on Stone Cold's podcast or something like that? It's like there was a bit of time off that she had, and she just flew herself to Japan to train with Meika Satomura and her school, and just to train in Japan and pick up some new skills and things. So it's if you have ever listened to any read or listened to any interviews she has done, she's always had a passion for Japanese wrestling. So it's something that she's wanting to accomplish, I think, for a long time.
Yeah. Gav says, unfortunately, these mistakes happen. I felt sorry for her. Yeah, it's like it's happened a few times. Like, who was that made that debut in AEW quite a long time ago? Or like, was it Evan Bourne or whatever he's now known as?
Oh, yeah, Matt Sydal when he botched the Shooting Star.
Yeah, like these things do happen. Like, obviously it happens.
First movie meant to do.
Yeah.
Assad says, don't get me wrong. I'm not belittling these people at all. And like I said, to do that move, to do anything in bloody heels she was wearing, must have been. I wouldn't be able to walk in those, let alone do any wrestling moves. So,
well, again, like if
I don't belittle anyone for getting a mistake wrong and things like that.
But if we just look at the move there, so obviously there's the spin round and then the DDT, and if they just hadn't gone over it, if she thought the spin round was the move, then it's just like how you have like a Crossroads or something where it's just like one of those roll the dice moves, and it's just like, that's the impact, but it's like, no, it's meant to land into the DDT.
Yeah, that might have been Kyra's fault. It might have been Kyra maybe just took it wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. The only place that doesn't have a women's division in anything is Saudi Arabia, says Assad. There you go. But, do you remember like the first time they had like Natalya and Lacey Evans or someone wrestled, and it was basically just like long t-shirts over long or whatever, but now they have like proper outfits that they wear and stuff like that. So
yeah, but it's not the same. It's still like they're still covered and all that sort of stuff. That doesn't bother me, but it's this whole freedom of expression thing that sort of doesn't pay off really on that score. So it's like I say, I hopefully if anything, it's going to be like the guys that own like put big stakes in Newcastle United and things like that. Where they just fund it and they go, right, here's your money. You just
go make money sort of thing. So it'll be interesting though. So if Vince McMahon's getting involved for a sale, like coming back to this, and they say they make it the sale, whatever, do they do a deal where it's like, well, Vince McMahon or Triple H or our team are still going to be involved? Because if Disney bought it, they can't really get Kevin Feige to come in and run WWE the same way as he runs Marvel, can they? It's like, who do they hire for this job? It has to be Vince or Triple H or someone that's... It has to be someone that's already doing it, because it's such a unique industry.
I mean, like I say, it's just one of those things. I can't fathom, and it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. Like I say, just hopefully no one just jumps to massive conclusions on Twitter. At the end of the day, I would like it if it was actually just as it has been written, and it's just Stephanie wanting some time off. She had to come back to sort of oversee things, and now things are sort of going back to the way they were, and she now wants the time off again and everything like that, which is not going to be permanent.
But she is quit.
It's just a case of not wanting to do it.
No, but she is. But she actually said in the tweet she's gone one step further and handed in her resignation.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. She just decided it's going to be a permanent thing now. But
yeah.
It's I just like it. Just if anything, let's just be devil's advocate here. Maybe everything is just as it is, completely at face value, and it's just now going to be. It's not going to be what everyone's sort of fearing it's going to be. Maybe nothing does change, and it's just a case of him sort of sorting out the sale, and then that leaves everything else as it's been.
Yeah, quite possibly. So, what else has been going on? I don't know. There's actually tons of other huge breaking news. You haven't seen the rest of Dynamite, have you? What happened on Raw this week? There was a tag team gauntlet or something like this, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, I managed to watch that one actually. The tag gauntlet was not too bad, but Judgment Day going through every single team.
Yeah.
Pretty much to the end. I will say that Judgment Day has actually been a surprise hit for me in terms of like the last few months, in terms of this whole sort of like stretch of everything. Because remember, because I was watching, I just happened to be like just going through some old shows of this, the Slam Jam a little while ago, and watched like an old one from about a year ago. And you know when you do the headlines round, where you like miss out on a couple of words in the headline. Yeah. And one of them was Vince McMahon gives up on Finn Balor.
Ooh.
And it was like, how that's what a difference a year makes in terms of like, because obviously he's gone, and then suddenly Finn's in this prominent position in this group and getting some big wins and is one of the sort of like the upper mid card sort of guys. And a year ago he was sort of like might have been on up the chop.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing what a Vinceless Fed has been like.
Well, okay. So when did Vince was still there when Balor took over leading the Judgment Day, wasn't he?
Yeah, but they were starting to go into the sort of spooky horror sort of magic sort of like thing, weren't they? And since then they've just been douchebags, which has been much better.
Yeah. Well, the whole Dominic Rhea thing has kind of been like the standout story of the last few months in WWE.
It has been, with the exception of the bloodline and everything like that. With that stuff, it was hilarious watching the Dominic interview thing of him being this hardened jailbird criminal now after spending less than a day in jail. It's just brilliant. He's coming up with the bandanas around him and all that sort of stuff. Even to the point where the commentators are saying, he just spent one day in Rhea Ripley turning around to him hearing it, going, "Hey, you shut your mouth."
Now,
I've done my time.
Yeah. What I was going to say, the interesting thing on Raw though was, and I don't know how I feel about this, like Finn, he can't wrestle, he's injured. Well, Dominic, you're going to have to wrestle. It's like, you're going to just give the team a fresh man, like halfway, like 3/4 of the way through the match.
If they're wrestling a fresh team, I mean...
Well, yeah, that's actually quite a good point, Dave. But it's just like, well, it will have to be him. It's like, no, he has to wrestle on his own. Why are they giving the heels a fresh man?
No, that's just...
and why didn't Dominic want it? Dominic was like, no, I can't do it. He's like, you got to. Damien Priest, like, you have to.
He ends up winning it anyway, so just a way of getting some more heat on Dominic, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so.
On there, but yeah, that'll be an odd match. The Usos against.
Well, yeah, having just said it, like a couple of there's two standout factions in the last year are now going to start to clash. And unless if the Usos lose the titles, then we know that Roman probably isn't going to keep the title at Mania, because these empires do start to crumble around this time of year. Or it will just be that they're kind of just feeding Priest and Finn and Dominic or whatever to the Usos, and it will probably leave them floating a bit. Like I always, who has got the? Is it going to be Kevin Owens? It's at the Rumble. He's got the world title shot, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's worst position of the year, worst time of the year to get a world championship match.
Not even for me, I know, because I made a prediction about 6 months ago saying Kevin was going to win the Royal Rumble, so I'm a bit bummed about that.
Wow.
But I have to make a new prediction now.
I think we've still got a couple of weeks before the Rumble, so that we can get like the full predictions and all that. But I don't know. It feels like it should be Sammy.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, it also feels like it should be Cody, or it feels like it should be The Rock, or Logan Paul was my bet 6 months ago.
In an ideal world, it's Sammy wins the Rumble, maybe by accident, and then wins it at the end, and then like that just builds up to him winning at Mania. In an ideal world, that's what I would like to see. The likelihood is we're going to see Sammy and Kevin winning the tag belts and Usos at Mania.
Unless he's injured. I thought what they were gearing up to was Logan Paul and his brother. What was his brother called?
What? Jake Paul?
Yeah, Logan at the last. What was the Crown Jewel or whatever the one was a couple of months ago, where Logan took on Roman. Then Jake Paul came out, and it was like they were getting in the face of the Usos, and it just felt like, oh my god, they're going to do the Pauls versus the Usos.
No, please no.
Oh, I don't think that's not necessarily the end of the world. Like, Logan Paul is actually surprisingly good.
I don't care how good he is. I want them to piss off. It's on my bloody nerves.
Like, I didn't even have a concept of who these dudes were until there was like a thing where it was like, was it WrestleMania last year where it was like him and The Miz?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's crazy. That was a year ago.
They had the match with each other, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I get it, but just that's a Vince move, isn't it? Just putting them in the position instead of having like the natural story going to who it should be. The long-term story has been quite good with that, and I think that's where everyone's sort of seeing it going towards and going like in that respect. I mean, I guess Cody being the winner could be a potential thing. It's probably going to happen anyway because they are building to him returning soon. So I imagine the Rumble's probably where he's returning at.
I have the worry that if Cody comes back in the Rumble, he's going to end up getting the kind of Batista, or the Roman. Like when Roman, what WWE never realised about Roman is that they weren't pumped to see Roman win. They just wanted Batista to lose. And they wanted Daniel Bryan to win. And then the next year, they were like, right, well, let's give them Roman. They were like, no, that wasn't what we wanted. We just wanted Daniel Bryan to win. And when we realised he didn't show up, we were like, make it Roman then. And
imagine what the reaction would be if Cody eliminated Sammy.
Oh, they can't do that.
It would be absolutely out there.
I almost feel like they'll have to do something where... Well, the thing is, if they put Sammy in early and eliminate him... Because I remember, what was that god-awful ECW pay-per-view? The only ECW pay-per-view they did?
December to
Dismember. Like, it was like Elimination Chamber. And it was like a load of WWE guys and RVD in it. And it wasn't even Test. Was Test even still around? Was CM Punk in it as well? Right, okay, but I remember that they eliminated RVD first. Just so
no, it was Punk first.
Punk first? Was RVD in it? Or am I just
Punk was first, then I think someone else, and then Test eliminated RVD out of nowhere. And it was
but the point was, and was it Lashley the champion?
Yeah, Lashley right.
But the point was they eliminated the favourites, so to try to make you then rally for Lashley.
Yeah.
And if they eliminate Sami Zayn early, it'll just be that whoever's in the ring, like Cody, it was almost like Ronda last year. Like they knew that Ronda was getting a cheer because we haven't seen you in a while, but then the audience were going to remember that actually they'd kind of turned on her before, and then they've kind of never got her back as a face.
Well, she didn't really help herself with the return speech, did she? She's just going, yes, I'm back. Really excited. And why are you not cheering me? I'm like, yeah, I'm really pumped to be back. What are you not cheering? Are you cheering? Oh, screw you guys then.
You're right. Actually, I remember that.
Nothing actually helped her. Myself.
Oh my gosh. Right, Dave. We can begin to wrap things up here. I had got a couple of games and stuff, but since it's just turned out to be the dynamic duo of Dave and Dave, Cap says bring back Bobby. Cap, when did you last watch WWE? Bobby Lashley's been back for like 4 years or something. You should watch like a year ago. Like last 2 years, he's been world champion and everything.
What's the Raw after Mania? Like 33 or something like that. That thing. It might be right. Watch out for an alliance segment where where someone might come back.
Yeah. Gosh, is that when Bobby Lashley came back? 33.
I can't remember. I'm just trying to remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Bobby and the Hurt Business versus the Bloodline. They should just, like, the Hurt Business, they just need to reunite it, and it just needs to be like when DX reunited, and they were like, well, Triple H tried to kill Shawn Michaels, and they just forgot it. And it's like, well, we'll be happy to see these guys back together.
Well, they're throwing seeds to them coming back now, aren't they? Because they did the whole thing of MVP, like taking Lashley, getting Lashley's suspension lifted or something.
Okay, I haven't paid attention to that.
They are sowing the seeds of them coming back, and Shelton and Cedric are under teaming again. So
yeah. Capital says Jake Paul is planning to enter MMA. I do think I saw something, and he already has Nate Diaz lined up. I'm not sure he'll hop on WWE now, but who knows? Yeah, he should do. Like, there's money to be had there.
Not mine.
Well, I tell you what, like, I don't believe these celebrity boxing matches aren't rigged. I've seen too much, which is a bit suspicious.
Celebrity boxing peaked with what was his name? Grant something against Ricky Gervais many years ago.
Well, I don't remember this at all.
It's a comic relief thing many years ago.
Russell Grant?
No, not Russell Grant. No, that would have been great. That would have been very good. No, someone else. Who was that Anthea Turner married 2 years ago? That was like a big name on radio. We're talking mega, like, ages ago.
No, I don't remember this at all.
Hang on, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, no, go for it.
I mean, feel free to fill.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Instead of putting Bobby against Brock, like, to do what instead of put Bobby against Brock? I don't know who he means. Like, what, Jake Paul? Like, there's a few wrestlers who I feel like they should work out ways to still let them do a fight here on that. Like, if Bobby...
Here's an idea for a WrestleMania card. Put some actual wrestlers who are under contract in there.
Yeah. I find it weird, and I think for a lot of, like, wrestling fans, like, our level kind of thing, we find it weird to think that there are fans that just watch once a year for WrestleMania. Because it's like, I can't even... Because it's like... There are storylines. It's not like the World Cup, and it's just like, oh, England are playing, I'll watch it. It's like, if you don't know the context of what's been going on, it's... You don't get anywhere near the same out of it.
Okay, here we are. So it's Grant Bovey, who used to be married to Anthea Turner years ago, as a businessman, and it's Ricky Gervais and him having a celebrity boxing match.
Jesus.
I think Ricky's in the red.
I tell you what, the way that you've got like your filter where it was like blurring stuff, it really made it look cinematic.
It did, didn't it? It was like one of those sort of like, it was like one of those scenes from Dark Side of the Ring.
Well, yeah, exactly. It really did look like that. Okay, let's see if there's any breaking news before we do wrap this up, because there usually is something.
Is at this point, isn't there?
Yeah, or in like 15 minutes time. Let's have a look here. Oh yeah, Bully Ray is back in Impact. Why has Bully Ray never been in AEW? Is there a reason for that?
Was they've got taste?
Wow.
No,
Ooh,
I
deep
don't.
burn.
It was at, he was in the very first All In. Wasn't
He was in like the over budget Battle Royal thing.
Yeah, but no, he's been back in Impact for a little while now. Isn't that happening this weekend? Impact pay-per-view.
I think there is, because I think that's what something's come up about this. Impact Wrestling betting odds on Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill. I'm going to be honest. I probably am not going to see this one. So World Championship match winner. I don't even understand these betting odds. Josh Alexander, 1 to 50. Bully Ray 10 to 1. I don't get it, to be honest. What else have we got? Jordan Grace versus Mickey James. So okay, here's the thing. Like I gather.
That's his career now.
So Mickey James, is she out of the NWA now? Because like she was the one that led the whole Empower thing. Like, because Nick Aldis has done that. And like, is Nick Aldis going to be in this Royal Rumble? He's not going to be a winner, obviously, but like he's doing nothing now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's yeah, he could be in there, but yeah, that's a title versus career match. That one, so likelihood is that Jordan's going to win, and he's going to be.
What?
off.
So Mickey will be out, and then, well, yeah, obviously they're going to go somewhere together. Are they going to turn up in WWE? The one thing that worries me about Mickey James and Nick Aldis coming to WWE is I've got like a vibe of like Maria and Mike Kanellis, where it'll be this is Nick and Mickey James. So it'll be Nick James, where he's just takes her name.
And it's like, oh god, not again.
Like the crazy thing about that with Maria is that in WWE before going to like Ring of Honor and all that, she was just Maria. So I don't think people particularly knew the name Kanellis anyway. So why lumber him with that name and just completely?
What? Anyone who was just watching the event at the time anyway and didn't see her elsewhere would have been like confused as to why this ditzy woman had just suddenly become this incredibly smart businesswoman. It was like, I was like, where's the character change here? What's happened?
Well, do you remember that interview she had with where she completely buried Chris Masters in one thing? It's like, is that why they call you the masturbate? And he's like, masterpiece. And it's like, why did you just bury that whole guy's gimmick in one promo? Do you not remember this?
No, I don't.
Oh my god, it was very funny, but it's like like Chris Masters for a little while was a big deal. Like him and Carlito, they were like the threat to John Cena, and then something happened. He came back, his chest had collapsed, and it was all over for him.
He was at Dynamite last night in the audience as a fan.
Chris Masters.
Yeah, he posted about it, saying I'm here as a fan, and they filmed a little bit to prove it. He was in the crowd while MJF was doing his thing on Freddie Prinze Jr.
What? And did I miss that? Did they point him out?
No, it was just there as a fan. He wasn't pointed out or anything like that, but he was there, and people were seeing him around the arena going, "Hey, look, Chris Adonis in the house. It's Chris Adonis now, isn't he?"
That's insane.
Yeah, I just saw that before he went on. I was like, okay, that's odd.
That is really odd. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again.
It doesn't appear on TV. It's on his Twitter.
Yeah. Then what else we got? So Motor City Machine Guns, Major Players. That's Cardona and Myers, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So are they? So is Matt Cardona going to be in the Rumble? Because there's been rumours of that as well.
I have no idea. It seems to be making allusions to it, but probably not if Vince is back now. He'd be like, "What the hell's Zack Ryder doing here?"
Yeah. What's the woo you guy? Okay. Well, anyway, I don't think there's any breaking news. I'll refresh it one more time. Let's have a look here. No, it doesn't appear so. So with that, Dave, let's wrap things up here. This has been a good show.
That's been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun. It's been good to have you back.
So hopefully next time we'll get more of us on to have some play some games and things.
Well, absolutely.
Impressions rounds and that sort of stuff.
Let's have a look. So, Dave, where can the people find you?
Find me in about 15 minutes on Extreme Improv, and at Degrino for wrestling opinions and things like that, and chat and stuff like that on Twitter.
Okay, my name is David Postansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Postansky. If you haven't done so already, please smash that subscribe button on youtube.com/Extreme Improv. Very close to getting up to 1,000 subscribers, but also, just because I've almost reached 1,000 there, make sure you go over to youtube.com/@Slam Wrestling Show. You have to put in the @ for some reason. And that way, if you're just interested in the wrestling side of stuff, then this is, that'll be the place to find it. And we are simulcasting. I don't know if that's the right word, but I know it's what they did on the last WCW Nitro. But anyway, until next time, stay safe, always stay extremes.